Greetings, Star Warrior.
Welcome to the Outer Rim. It will be a day long remembered. It has seen the end of Rian Johnson. Soon it will see the end of Kathleen Kennedy. Well, maybe that's a little bit of wishful thinking on my part. But there is Star Wars news out there, and I thought that it would be good for me to report on it. Apparently, the much vaunted, much talked about, much acclaimed Disney streaming service that is supposed to compete with the most popular Netflix is going to be a complete dud. Why is this? Well, many sites are reporting on it today that Star Wars, the original Star Wars, the only Star Wars, the movies created by George Lucas, will not be available on the Disney streaming service. And I know at least some of them won't be available for Disney streaming service to use until 2024. So that's quite some news to report on. There's a few articles that I looked at, and I think that I'll just read one of them here that sort of lays out some main points. And then I'll give my own opinion of what's being said and just an all-around overview of what I think about Disney Star Wars and Star Wars in general at this moment. So, without further ado, let's get to the article. The title of this article is Disney's upcoming Netflix competitor likely won't have its full catalog at launch, notably lacking the classic Star Wars movies. And if you ask me, the classic Star Wars movies are the only Star Wars movies. The George Lucas Star Wars movies are the only Star Wars there is. But let's read some of these headlines here, some of the main points. The first one, not all Disney content will be available on its upcoming streaming service when it launches late next year. Okay, so we know that. CEO Bob Iger said in an earnings call on Tuesday that some movies are affected by licensing arrangements. That includes Star Wars movies released before 2019. So every movie released before 2019 will not be available for use by this Disney streaming service. That sort of just kills Star Wars in the Disney streaming service. I mean, I know Disney has a lot of very well-loved properties to use, but their most recent flagship has been Star Wars, or at least they've been trying to make it so. I guess Marvel has kind of been their flagship, but they've been trying to bring Star Wars up to that position for years now. And somehow they have gotten themselves into a position where they cannot use their greatest Star Wars material for their upcoming campaign online. So, the next point. Disney will let a deal with Netflix expire at the end of the year, but according to Bloomberg, it's still facing pushback from Turner Broadcasting, which owns the TV rights to old Star Wars movies until 2024. And this is the biggest travesty, or I should throw a party, really, for Disney in all of this. 2024. That's wonderful. Okay, the next one says, however, Disney is developing a number of original shows and movies for the service, including a live-action Star Wars series. Who gives a rat's? If you can't play the real Star Wars, I don't want your fake crap. But let's get into the meat of this article and just, sort of get the details down, because it's bound to be interesting. And it starts out, Disney is preparing to enter the streaming wars, but it's already facing complications. When Disney launches its next Netflix competitor late next year, it's likely not everything in the Disney catalog will be available right away. Notably, Star Wars movies released before 2019. In a Disney earnings call on Tuesday, CEO Bob Iger said that a number of products made before 2019 are encumbered by licensing arrangements. That's a nice way of putting it. And he used Star Wars The Force Awakens as an example. So the Disney movie, Star Wars The Force Awakens, and of course, The Last Jedi was made before 2019 as well. neither of them will be available for the streaming service. What a joke. But let's move on. We're obviously going to, this is quoting Bob Iger, we're obviously going to make sure that when we bring this product forward, we market it, Iger said. People are going to know that if they're looking for, I don't know, The Force Awakens, it's not going to be on. How did you get yourself in this position, Disney? How? Movies like Star Wars The Last Jedi and Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, and the animated show Star Wars The Clone Wars are currently available on Netflix. But according to the New York Times, Disney will allow its licensing deal with Netflix to expire at the end of this year. So that's not so bad for them. As far as Rogue One, The Last Jedi, and whatever else, The Clone Wars, they'll be able to do that, to air that before, I think, the streaming service even launches. So not anything big there. It's Turner they have to worry about, apparently. But Disney is facing pushback from another media giant. Yep, here we go. Bloomberg, citing anonymous sources, recently reported that Disney was trying to buy back the TV rights to old Star Wars movies, but talks have gone nowhere. Disney sold the rights to Turner Broadcasting in 2000. How stupid! In 2016. Dumb. Dumb. They may not have had the idea of coming up with their own streaming service at the time, but really, it's kind of a no-brainer that they would do that. Anyway, let's move on. Let me start. Disney sold the rights to Turner Broadcasting in 2016, which can currently air the films on its networks TNT and TBS until 2024. That is a long time. I mean, wow. A source told Bloomberg that Turner would want financial considerations and programming to replace the lost films, and negotiations have stalled since. Ouch. That's a dark... It's coming to theaters. Captain Marvel and Avengers 4, live-action remakes of Dumbo and The Lion King, and Star Wars Episode 9. Quoting Iger, so when we launch at the end of 2019, now they still have to be windowed in based on how we bring product to market. But the windowing will not be affected by existing licensing deals, Iger said before reading the list of movies again. That's a pretty strong slate, he added. Whatever. Disney is also developing a number of original shows and movies for the service, including a live-action Star Wars series, Don't Care, from Iron Man and the Jungle Book director Jon Favreau. I don't even know if Jon Favreau can get me interested in this. I like the original Iron Man movie, but it's a tall order. It will be up to consumers to decide whether that offsets the lack of old Star Wars movies and other content. Wow, that's a doozy. So, my take on all of this. Disney shit the bed, and now I get to laugh at them. And here's basically the reason I want to laugh at them so bad. There are a lot of, pro-Disney people, pro-Disney Star Wars people out there that talk about how the anti-Disney Star Wars people make it so that the pro-Disney Star Wars people's voices can't be heard online or anywhere, and that's a huge, huge crock. But I will tell you what Disney has done, along with Kathleen Kennedy and Rian Johnson, people like them, to people like me. So, at the start of summer, I took a break from the internet. I took a break from Star Wars. I just took a break altogether. I had a lot of things going on, and still do, but things have cooled down now. But that entire time, and really, ever since I saw The Last Jedi, I have been unable to watch anything that's official Star Wars. I haven't watched any of the movies, not any of the George Lucas movies, of course not any of the Disney crap. It's just been, I've had, in fact, I've had and I have right now The Empire Strikes Back sitting in my disk drive, and it's been there for months, and I just can't watch the damn thing. So it's incredibly sad. I took a break from Star Wars in general and from the internet just to see if I could muster the will to actually watch my favorite movie, and nothing. No results, nada. Now, I never wanted to complain about that like some people online complain about how I sort of somehow keep their voice from being heard. But I will just mention it because I think it's relevant to this video that whatever Disney is going to be airing featuring Star Wars on their streaming network, it's not going to be Star Wars to me, you know? I can't watch the ones that I actually do think is Star Wars, and I'm definitely not going to watch this pseudo-Star Wars crap. So, I mean, that is real tangible consequence of what Disney, Kathleen Kennedy, Rian Johnson, and people like them have been doing to a very beloved franchise, a very beloved property that people spent a lot of time and money on before these people got their claws on it. You know, I've heard no end of people, including people who have come to troll my channel, and troll me, who love that movie and were able to be heard. I heard them. I disagreed with them. I have nothing against them. I have nothing against people who like the movie. I have something against the people who produced the movie. If they had anything to do with the production of it, I have something against them. You know, of course, that's excluding someone like Mark Hamill, who was contractually obligated to involve himself in that film before Rian Johnson got his hands on it, before Kathleen Kennedy got her hands on it. And he warned them repeatedly about the direction they were taking it. So, other than that, I have major problems with the people that were involved with The Last Jedi. And now I can't watch Star Wars, and I haven't been able to for months. Who knows when the next time I will be able to watch it. But, yeah, that's kind of my take on Disney's current predicament. I'm laughing my ass off. And I'm loving it. But tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And as always, if you're listening, you are the new rebellion. You are the new rebellion. You are the new rebellion. You are the new